Welcome, welcome, welcome. Greetings to tarot lovers and tarot curious. I can't believe we got this far, but here we are. This is card 10 of the Major Arcana. And we have so much to cover in this video. It's just insane. But what I'm going to ask you to do when we get to the prompts for the journaling, I want you to focus on the questions that call out to you and stop and think about them and see, does this resonate with me and how? And see how this card has been operating in your life. Wheel of Fortune. It's about things that are happening outside of us that affect us, events that we don't control, but that happen in our surroundings, to us, and so on. And there's so much symbology in this card that I'm going to point things out. Some of it is not going to resonate with you yet, or you might want to look into it later, or you want to totally ignore it because it's not the point of who you are and what you want to do with your tarot studies. Tarot is a very personal journey. Even though we all start in the same area, we just branch out wherever we like. So get your journals ready to capture the many ways that the Wheel of Fortune can connect with you in a meaningful way. Because it's card 10, this is the symbol of Jupiter. So Jupiter is full of joy. Jupiter is full of possibilities. I want you to jot down how you connect to this card and imagine what the fortune card says to you. Okay, so things that are not in our control, luck, things that were a good, fortunate event. How were you affected by some fortunate event in your life? So some of it might be having avoided a disaster. Some of it might have been winning a prize or having a really great teacher in school after having one that wasn't one. So you got a break. The supply chain of good fortune is endless. And if you look back in your life, you might notice, if you take a journal prompt right now and write down events in your life that were fortuitous for you, something that happened for your benefit, or that ended up being a great benefit. So, happy surprises. They create unexpected sweetness to our spirit and reinvigorate our soul, rejuvenating our quest on our journey. So, one of the things about this being a lucky card and Jupiter is fun-loving. So things having to do with joy, like me being here, I am feeling great joy just holding this and thinking about Jupiter. And I'm wondering about all the lucky moments where I won a prize, or I got to be first in line somewhere where I didn't even expect to. And it just goes on and on. I was lucky to have 2 children. And, it wasn't all roses for sure, but it was a very wonderful gift for me to be able to do that. So those are some of my lucky moments. But not only is it considered a card of good things for you, it's also associated with reminding you to choose a spiritual path. Now, how can that be? It's interesting how those two go together. I believe that most of our lives, we are in control of things we do and things we have going on around us. However, there are things we can't control. And those things how we respond to them, that's where the spiritual part comes in. So when the Wheel of Fortune is sending you all good, bubbly, sweet things, that's like a time to just be in the joy and enjoy your life. But there are times when, oh, it didn't happen the way I wanted, or, oh, somebody hurt me somehow really badly. Then we have to respond in some way. Those ups and downs of life are there, and the road to sweetness is not a straight road. The road to sweetness is up and down. When things do not go as we wish, we need to grapple with our spiritual truth about what matters. This card gives tribute to the pain we gain when we choose mindfully, the personal growth we gain when we choose mindfully. So the wheel symbolizes karma. Can you just imagine it going around and around and around? If you own angry or happy wishes or actions toward others, they can bounce back to you. So keeping an awesome mindset where you are really focused on, oh, how can I view this now? How can I view this? This is an incident where something happened, and how can I view this in a positive light so that I'm not sending out really negative energy in a way that could bounce back to me? So that's the karma. So journal prompt. Have you engaged in the idea of karmatic energies and how they flow in and out? What experiences have you seen expressed through what you felt was a karmic balancing of energy? The wheel also represents the life cycle, seasons, and turning points in your life. Journal prompt. What turning of wheels have you noticed in your life? Do seasons of the year have a huge effect or impact on your life? How do your seasons compare? Have you transitioned from seasons in your own life? Do you mentally note any occasion of that transition? Like graduations, new job, moving, changing life patterns due to new habits, or ages and stages of life? Okay, so the wheel floats in the sky, and if you will notice, in the corner, there is a man. That is symbolic of both Aquarius, the fixed air sign in astrology, and Mark from the four Gospels. In the top left corner, an eagle represents Scorpio. Yes, Scorpio is also an eagle and sometimes a phoenix. So those are the three stages of Scorpio, coming out of the darkness into the light. And in this case, an eagle is Scorpio, the fixed water sign in astrology, and John from the four Gospels. In the top, and the top right corner. A bull is for Taurus, which is a fixed sign in astrology, and Luke from the four Gospels in the bottom left. And then you have Leo the lion, a fixed fire sign in astrology, and Matthew from the four Gospels. They are busy reading. That reading symbolizes the need to seek and follow spiritual paths, and they surround the wheel. So that is where you see the spiritual element. So whether you're seeking spirituality through maybe insight in astrology, insight in other spiritual books, the Torah, which is it's a spiritual book for many different faiths, and it symbolizes seeking ancient knowledge. So even though this card is letting you know that cycles of good and bad stuff happens, it's also saying follow your spiritual truth. What resonates as truth in your soul's path? So that might be a good journal prompt if you want to stop and write about that. What resonates for you as your soul's path? If you need to write more about it, if something's coming forth because of this card. So remember the Fool as a child learning spiritual truths from the Hierophant? That was about learning spiritual truths from a teacher. Hey, oftentimes life gets in our face and says, oh, wait a minute, that might have been great for you as a child, but here's some truth you were never taught, and I'm going to teach you now. So life is often our teacher, and we outgrow some older truths that were visited upon us with good intentions, and we develop a more authentic version of our spiritual growth. So the previous card that the Fool visited was the Hermit. And here's the Hermit. He became the Hermit in deep contemplation. And in the process of becoming the Hermit, can you imagine how he is going to be like these four corners of the Wheel of Fortune card, studying like, what truth do I want to cling to? So he had done a lot of inner thought, inner reflection, coming to new conclusions, putting things together that weren't together before that. Now there's more of a consolidation of that. So the Fool's choosing to follow his own spiritual truth with the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. So it's not only a good luck card, it's a, whoa, personal growth identity card, really. Journal prompt. What spiritual insights have you purposefully chosen to follow as you seek your own spiritual truths? This might be a lot of repeat from other cards we've been going through, but it bears repeating as each card may evoke a new snitchet of that reality for you. So how do you feel that choosing a spiritual path works for you? What's the process of your spiritual path? Do you go through hermit stages and then come out on the other side, putting it together by looking at your ups and downs of life and seeing how it all fits? All right, now the letters on the wheel are a word. So this is T-O-R-A, and then if you go back to the T, it would be spell tarot, or T-O-R-A is T-O-R-A, sorry. T-O-R-A is Torah, which is the book that the four characters are reading. And then the other direction, T-A-R-O-T, would be the tarot. I'm all confused now. Anyway, and then if you go to R, R-O-T-A is Greek. Or no, not Greek, it's Latin. Pardon my language. For wheel, which is a wheel. So it's kind of a punny card too, very punny. There are Hebrew letters, which have a lot of history to them. They are considered the unpronounceable name of God. And the letters themselves have other intriguing rabbit holes you can get into. And one of them I want you to consider is the idea of considering your own design for the card. You can think about the Hamsa, because the Hamsa, the hand symbol, here's a sample. Okay, so, I mean, the Hamsa, not the Hamasa. The Hamsa, it's a symbol that goes way back, and in Hebrew times, early scriptural times, this symbol was used as a good luck symbol, the hand of God. So something to protect you against evil things from happening. So there's that one. And the reason I brought that up is because one of the letters here is Shin, S-H-I-N, but it's one of these little letters that you see between, there's one between the T and the A, there's one between the A and the R and the O, and the O and the T up here. So one of those letters is Shin, and it means palm leaf or hand. So this is a very old symbol that goes way back, and it has to do with protection and spiritual help. The hand of God of the universe is an example. There are countless more of examples of this online if you wanted to go down that rabbit hole. But it could be a symbol for your card or incorporated in your card if you wanted to make a different design that holds up to a Wheel of Fortune idea. Journal prompt. As you design your own Wheel of Fortune card, would you consider adding your own words or symbols for how you want to read this card? Okay. This is also called the Wheel of God or the Wheel of the Universe. And it surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, relates to the Chariot card. On the charioteer wears all the symbols of his faith. And the Wheel of Fortune wants us to consider living our faith, living through our faith and choosing that. And that is what this card is an example of. So this is an example of going for it through thick and thin, staying the road, not giving up, holding on to what you believe. And that's very similar. They kind of go together that way. And all of these cards, even though they are linear, they're numbered 1 through 21, they time travel back and forth toward each other in any way. So you can easily get cards that are from one end to the other, and they will speak to each other like these two do. So journal prompt. What part of Wheel of Fortune resonates with you so far? How does the idea of God wheel or universe wheel relate to your own spirituality about cycles and seasons? Okay, so not only do we have these symbols going around the outer circle here, there are symbols in here. The lines are considered spiritual influences, high spirit influences, maybe angels, maybe our own spirits coming and going in through the wheel. So they look like little straight arrows. And then there are tiny, tiny symbols here that are alchemical symbols. And they are considered the 4 building blocks of life, but they're spiritual as well. Sulfur for the sun, rising in the east, Mercury for spirit in the north, water in the south for creation of earth, and salt for the soul's impact on its journey as a human in the west. Journal prompt. How would you imagine symbols of your own for your Wheel of Fortune card? They are similar to would they be similar to what is added here? Or would you like to focus on something totally different that's meaningful for you, that helps you better connect to your own spiritual path? So Riding the wheel on top is an Egyptian sphinx right up here. And that sphinx is considered knowledgeable and full of knowledge, full of riddles and strength. This is Hermes riding up here, kind of rising from the top. Hermes has a long history of changing from being something kind of scary to being something good. He's the dog-headed god of Egypt and a combination of the Greek god Hermes and the Anubis, which it causes him to have that head that's like a dog. The purpose of this mixed version of a god was a protection when humans transitioned to the underworld. The snake represents the life force, a low-key type energy, disruption, plunging from spirit energy and heading to the material realm. Low-key is connected to thought. The Hermes is connected to emotion. And the Sphinx is connected to will, like your will or your drive or your focus. So the three together create a sentence in my brain. So it answers, this one answers to protection from chaos. So it's like we have protection. There are answers that'll give us protection from chaos. So that goes with the whole wheel aspect. Journal prompt. These Egyptian symbols and their mythology have evolved from their inception. What images you connect to could serve this purpose? So the biggest question of the day, since this can mean I am protecting you, or I am bringing you good fortune, or keep in mind to be on your spiritual path, how do you know how to use this card? Well, like all the cards in tarot, they have like nuanced meanings, and a lot of it has to do with your own intuition, which you get from your mind, your gut working together. And if you were to pull a spread that had, for example, the Hermit along with the Wheel of Fortune, this is probably a spiritual reading of some kind. Or the High Priestess, that would definitely be a spiritual reading. This is like no way to get around this one being spiritual. Also, this one, because of their connection, very spiritual. And even because you're starting to question things you were taught and applying your own spiritual version of yourself, or your own, taking away the things that people have burdened you with and said, this is good for you, do it. You can peel those away and go, no, it's not fitting me anymore, or it never did. And so you toss away the parts of this that did not appeal to you, didn't work for you. And so that helps. If it's a minor arcana card that is paired with, it might be more about, good fortune or good protection. So, and a lot of people read reversal cards as, bad luck. But some people read reversal cards as, it's an internal thing happening inside of you. So in that case, it might be like a spiritual awakening about to happen. So reading reversals, it's a whole other direction to go in with this. But just connecting to the cards in a way that connects you to your reality is wonderful. So now that we've been focused so hard on all the different aspects of this card, I want you to think back on all the things that resonated with you about the Wheel of Fortune. What about it with something that you can hang on to and tie to your own life in a meaningful way, and honor your life as one with seasons and challenges and happy surprises, as well as one where you keep growing in mindful spiritual development. So with that in mind, let's sit back and close our eyes, take a few breaths, pull in the energy of the Wheel of Fortune and feel the joy of entertaining Jupiter in your heart. Connect to opportunity. Experience your challenges with a mindful goal of choosing what resonates with you on your spiritual journey. Breathing out what no longer serves you. Take some cleansing breaths and just sit and thank yourself for this practice of connecting to the Wheel of Fortune and following the Fool on his journey. As you quietly come back into your awareness, consider the expansion these tarot cards are providing as you reconnect to your own empowering life story. You don't need to know every bit of the meaning with the tarot cards, and believe me, there's so much here, and you don't need to know it all. Just fix in your mind what worked for you, what aspect of this card helped you understand how the Wheel of Fortune is yours, how the Wheel of Fortune jives with your life story, your life direction, your life focus, and your path, your very own journey. It's going to be unique for all of us in one way or another. And I think the art for this is going to be profound because there's so much you can incorporate. There's so much you can seek outside of this card that you can bring in and consolidate as yours. And if I were you, I would add some circular aspect to it so that we will see it say Wheel of Fortune and see the circles somewhere in there, because I think that'll help create that sense of whether you have it in like up in a corner or in the center or a big circle with lots of things happening in it like this one. It doesn't matter. Just something that gives us that wheel turning feeling in it. And I think you're going to be able to come up with something really amazing. I'm looking forward to someday seeing what all of you are making. And this has been a joy to be doing this with you today. And I really look forward to next week, because next week, the Fool is going to meet this one. This is Justice. And Justice has a very intriguing story. So I am looking forward to seeing you then. Blessed be. Namaste. Thank you.